You guys have a door, you've probably been banging on it for, who knows, 6 months to a year, and you're starting to notice the gap is opening up. And that you'll see most likely right here, right at the bow of the door. This is where you'll get your largest gap. What we've done by designing the blocks with some adjustment in them is the ability to slide these blocks over and close that gap. So I'm gonna walk you through the process of how to do that. Now, if you're at your station trying to figure out the tools you need to have, if you have a Makita or some other impact wrench, this would be fantastic with a 3/8 inch adapter that's gonna make your life a lot easier. You'll need a 9/16 inch wrench or socket to be able to make this adjustment. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unpin the door. So I take my pin out, right? And you'll be able to see here, these blocks are getting pretty worn. And sometimes over time, these blocks will need to be replaced. So some of these things that you're gonna learn today have to do as much with block replacement as with block adjustment. And we'll show you a couple tricks while we're here. So I'm gonna loosen all this stuff up first. And by the way, you'll notice that this door, it actually has our extended hip plate on it for our police officers. And you can really notice it on the inward side. So this block adjustment doesn't matter which door you have, whether it's got the police officers extended hip plate or the regular one with the doorknob and the deadbolt, or even our older plate with just a hanging clevis hook. Now, when we do this, the pen block will move, okay? So our pen block is adjustable both in and out, so this way or this way, and then up and down. So we're gonna loosen it up. It might fall out of place, which is fine. We'll show you how to adjust it as we finish things up. So sometimes the impact gun won't work, so make sure you keep a socket wrench on you. Okay, you start to see that now the blocks have gotten loose, which is what we're aiming at here. So so you'll notice I've loosened up all the bolts around the edge of the perimeter here. And then the last 4 through here. And then these are the last 4. Also, the first 4 will tighten back up as we put things back together and make sure we line up our pen block with our hole set. So now we're gonna go after these. And actually, I'm gonna take this whole thing off just to show you something really quick in case you can't see it. Underneath this block, or under these block strap, are actually 2 angled slots. So as the door actually walks out of the area, this bracket will slide down those slots. That's what's gonna hold it in place as we relock it. So this is actually the mechanism, these straps, to hold the block out away from this part of the door. If you try and move the block out and don't adjust the straps against this edge, what will happen is the block will walk back in. So it's important that you recognize that what the mechanism is just these simple slots, but 2, don't throw these away and don't try to adjust it without them. Again, we're gonna set our block. If you have a knife or some kind of a shim, something to be able to adjust your block over so you have at least an 1/8 inch of gap, okay? So that's pretty close right there. That makes a nice tight gap fit for me. If I need to, I just pull this up to get it out of the way. That will allow myself to be able to adjust it more, okay? And once I think I've gotten the right spot, I'm gonna just tension 1 bolt to help hold that position for me. And then I was able to take my knife out. I know my knife is about an 1/8 inch in width, so I'm in good shape there. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull it over, use my knife as my gap set. Now remember in the last one I told you, see, they would normally fall down, like this one fell down, but because I flipped my block over, they're gonna have to be slid up. So the trick is just basically tension here and here. Don't crank them down real tight, but then you can take something as simple as a small hammer and make your adjustment. And then set it to your door and go, okay, is that where I want it? Is it lining up? If you have some kind of a shim or something to tell you, hey, I'm in about the right space. It's a hair type, it's not too bad. You can set these at an 1/8 or 3/16. I think either one works well. I might tap this in a hair more because you can see how it's catching the backside of the door here when it opens. So I'm just gonna tap that in a little bit more. Make sure that's not happening. Okay, good. And so again, I'm just checking to make sure it's got enough space to clear the back corner. I'm gonna bring out just a hair more. Do like a tight gap on my doors. Now you notice I'm tightening it up here, and I tightened it a little bit down here, but I haven't tightened anything here because I still need this pen block to be movable. So now I'm gonna release this, because that's what, remember I tightened this one and this one, just to kind of give this a point to hold. I'm gonna slide these both up now so they sit flush on both sides of the door against this edge. I'm gonna tighten those. Now that ensures my block won't slide back this way. It'll keep the block in the position that I've set it in. I'll do the same thing down here. Okay, now my blocks are set with the depth I need them. Now my big job is to get my pen block lined up. So I'm gonna loosen this up. Hopefully, yep, there goes my pen block, so now it'll move. So now, all I need is 1 3/4 inch dowel. Put my door nice and flush. And then with my finger, I'm gonna come inside here and I'll line this up. I'm gonna line it 2 different directions. So one is up and down, but you'll notice also I brought the pen block out. So here's a little thing about the pen block. The closer it is to the edge of this frame, the harder it is to break that dowel. Okay, the further in it is, the easier it is because it's going to create more leverage on the dowel. So this is a preference thing. You can have it all the way in or all the way out. In either case, we don't force at the pen block or else it'll misalign itself. So we're just gonna bring this out a little bit more. I like it a little bit tighter. And I'm gonna reach down here and grab my impact gun. Tighten the top, tighten. Sometimes carriage bolts come out on the backside, so we'll get a couple of them so we know we got them. All right, now I pull my dowel. Make sure everything's lined up. Good. We go back over these middle ones again, make sure everything's nice and tight. All right, and your door block is now reset, and now you can force your door, and you'll see how much tighter your gap is now. Plus your pen block is nice and tight to your door, so that'll give you a better break when you put your pen back in, and it should float right in there.